Hey fellas, doing this, I touched a button there, so I just got back from Pokémon Detective Pikachu, and I, for one, loved it. So, while I admit both the mediums of anime and video games have had a rather sordid history in live-action film adaptations, and, and overall, I think the film has managed to be the first legitimately good adaptation in live action of both mediums, and definitely a good first ever for Pokemon in live action on its own. I mean, while it does take some creative liberties with the 3DS game it's based on, it does keep the same basic plot, and keeping it to be spoiler free. So, it basically revolves around a young man named Tim Goodman, playing this role by Justice Smith, who has come to Rhyme City to search for his father, Harry, who went missing, presumed dead prior to the events of the story. He does form an unlikely bond with the titular Detective Pikachu in order to find the truth of what happened and unravel a greater mystery that could threaten the entire Pokemon world. And I gotta say, I mean, visually, they nailed it. It's definitely gonna be putting this out here. I mean, like, when I first heard the news of them rendering the Pokemon realistic CGI, I wasn't sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, I was expecting they would do something kind of like with Pokémon Tournament or the Super Smash Bros. Games, but instead they went all out with it, and I really appreciate this choice. I mean, as I do, choosing to have a story that will work with the medium film rather than against it, picking like a side story that'd be easier to focus on, rather than in a rather than just trying to cram about 23 years of video game mythology or about 1,000 episodes of TV into one movie, makes sense. And while some changes are made with the game, there are ones that do make sense with story. I mean, but even lampshade this in some cases where during the whole Mr. Mime interrogation scene, and one of the lines that is actually not in the games, so they did very much succeed in making this like a family-friendly version of the Deadpool films, which I admit, I'm glad to say that I like both these silly movies like this about Pokemon as well as hard R ones about fellow Canadian anti-heroes. And apparently, not only was it seen influenced by, of all things, David Fincher's Seven, apparently the studio initially wanted the character scene cut, but the director was able to convince the president of Pokemon Company himself in order to let them keep it in, and I gotta say, there was very rarely a moment where I wasn't laughing, and when I was, and I was invested in some other way, just seeing the world they've built is simply spectacular. I mean, I really like how they managed to combine elements of the London filming location and also give a whole like this kind of Far East neon lit aesthetic that's equal parts Blade Runner, Roger Rabbit, and Batman Forever's Gotham City. I mean, hey, I mean, especially in the case like the whole Pikachu vs Charizard fight, it's like one part the Rancor scene Return of the Jedi, one part the Bonesaw McGraw fight in the first Spider-Man, and one part the Hulk vs. Fortnite for Ragnarok. It's that kind of crazy that I absolutely live for. I mean, I think in many ways this actually got me and many other ones who have actually be more interested better than like I think the Battling Gillette, since I actually a lot of people thought that was the film that would save heavy anime movies, but given how it only made back about half its budget domestically, I think they really bet in the wrong mudstale there. I mean this one, and also any comparisons to like the infamous fan trailer that I once spoke about, I still don't really care for it, but this actually does what that one should have done. Someone once tried to tell me on my thoughts about that was gone to just one fan's vision. Well, I found that vision to be not what I was hoping for. On the other hand, this one actually takes the often more realistic action and risque jokes, makes them work with the concept and against it. I think one of my associates, I think his name was Pan, said this best, where there's being edgy on purpose and then there's being edgy for purpose. I mean, it's not automatically trying to apply the Nolan or Snyder style. I mean, it's like unique. It actually uses the best elements from both the anime and the video games to make something of its own, so now they have launching on point to do so if they want to move forward with this potential shared universe. I mean, if it's a hit after all, I mean, the showing I got to is a good mixture of people like me who have been fans from the beginning to the next generation of younger fans as well, and they have like families. And also, of course, I had the whole exclusive free cards that I just got. Like, there's the variation of the Pikachu holofoil, as well as there's some other ones like another Psyduck. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it too much. Obviously, go see the movie, but this just steals the show. You know why? I mean, if someone asked me if it would be too intense for younger viewers, I say just the right amount of intense. So, I will give this one a strong 4 out of 4, and I'll definitely introduce you to another Love Finders I'll pick up on my way back and also talk about some coming attractions. Okay, so no particular order. Godzilla Can of Monsters and the new Aladdin both look like fun. I mean, I'm definitely going to be doing things later both soon, because I'm having to shuffle them around when I was going to be seeing them in theaters. But trust me, when you say you know when you see them, and I'll have them out hopefully when they get close to coming out in theaters. And A Dog's Journey, I did not see the first one. I mean, even if I were to remove that infamous as behind the scenes clip from the equation, I just didn't think it looked that interesting to me. And same way on this one, like, because it is going to be one film involving only a dog and his relationship that might be seen on the time frame. It's called John Wick Chapter 3. Again, I like movies about cute little pocket monsters, and ones about violent gangsters being hunted by the man whose life they ruined. And I mean, yep. And trying to remember what else was on tap there. I mean, since I think there was some other YA film, which I might just wait for the DVD of because. And I'm actually kind of glad that, unlike Aaliyah, this movie did not try and just immediately go into the YA stuff. I mean, they just cast characters that fit the same, just happen to be people like adults in this day and age. I mean, so there's that. Sonic the movie, I already mentioned. I'm keeping an eye on that, as well as this news that apparently the character's going to be redesigned as a result of the angered feedback from a lot of fans. I still think that Jim Carrey's Eggman will probably be a lot of fun to watch. Though I do admit it is kind of invoking, again, part of it being like the 93 Super Mario Brothers, as well as those early 2000s live action Scooby Doo movies in style and tone, those production values, I mean. And so Spider-Man Far From Home, obviously, been holding off on addressing the second trailer because it's basically like a 2-minute walking spoiler for the Avengers Endgame, so keeping this brief, but much like Tom said, go see the Endgame if you have not before you watch the trailer, because there will be spoilers, also it's a great movie. And on that note, I think if everyone's going to help guys with the change from Phase 4 onward for Marvel, it's going to be Peter. And also reflects on how this movie is turned out as well, since Marvel did not immediately just dive right into making the endgame right away. They had to build up to it. Something they could have done after all this time. And heck, whether or not they want to draw a story that's influenced by the games, anime, or make a whole new one for the next movie, I'm all in favor of that if they make enough to make more. I mean, heck, even something like Star Wars, I mean, whatever they decide to do with the Rise of Skywalker, given how they reshuffle their film slate and potentially retooling their ideas for the streaming platform, I'm very much open to the idea of doing other stories besides what's really Jedi, given how the Clone Wars, Filoni show, Rebels, Resistance will all focus on camaraderie of the characters, Joe's mean Rogue One was very much like a war movie than a space opera. Even if Solo didn't really perform like they're hoping, I still thought it was a fun space western all the same. I'd definitely be interested to see more experimentation with the saga going forward, regardless of who's at the helm. And anyway, that's about all I got to say here about this for now. What guys, what happens this weekend? I definitely enjoy both this and the end game, so I'll see you all later. Carry on.